Marcus Stevens, GM of MSN Sub Saharan Africa. Welcome to the Red Zone.
Thank you for the invitation.
Now, Marcus, apparently 2013 was the year where online readership overtook print readership. Or where do you feel the future for both of these mediums are within the South African landscape?
2013 has been a watershed year. There are a couple of things to consider. How we read data. For instance, the All Media Product Survey, or the AMPS data, that records most of the media consumption in South Africa, overestimates the penetration of print and underestimates the penetration of internet. We have been looking closely at those numbers, and we feel that print ties itself closely to what they call a reader per copy, and the average reader per copy in South Africa is 6.2. Let me give you an example. One of the very successful Sunday newspapers in South Africa claims to have a readership per copy of 7.9 readers. That's just mathematically impossible. The average number of adults in a household in South Africa is 2.5 adults per household. We also know that 72% of South African homes have less than 4 people. So those numbers just don't stack up, making it difficult to validate reader per copy within the AMPS environment. Similarly, the internet penetration is underread on AMPS. And I don't think it's the fault of the AMPS survey itself. It's unfortunately in the respondents' responses to that question. In the AMPS survey, you are asked whether you have internet access at home. Not a lot of people draw back their mobile phones as an access point to the internet. And unfortunately, those numbers are not tallied up. And so the number of internet users is drastically underestimated. So we think that it would be fair to reduce the penetration of print to 38% and even 36% of all adults in South Africa, and to increase the penetration of internet from 22% to 29%. And that doesn't include 15-year-old plus individuals in South Africa, which would then take that percentage to 36%, which is on par with print. So yes, 2013, definitely a watershed moment in South African media.
So how do we as digital players in the space get onto one platform?
With the internet being underread, and with the South African Direct Media and Marketing Association, which governs the online and mobile industry, have commissioned Effective Measure to give us audience data around the online space. So we have Effective Measure tracking the audience penetration for internet, and media planners using AMPS as a source of data. So we need to put all our efforts into ensuring that we move our data for the online industry into a common language, that media planners can stack media choices like for like. That, I think, is our biggest challenge in the next few years.
Now, you mentioned that 29% of South African readers are finding information and going to the internet as their main source of entertainment, media and news source. But only 3% of the annual ad spend is actually spent on digital. Surely there's a lot more that we can do there. And what do you think brands should be doing, forging into digital?
I think brands are challenged in the fact that inertia is one of the biggest stumbling blocks to moving proper investment into matching the reach of potential media vehicles. And I think that that's something that's not uncommon globally. So we just look at the UK and the US, where it took a long time for online to earn its place at the table. And in South Africa, we're faced with much the same problem. Again, once we're on a common platform where we're being measured like for like and the intermediate decision is being made, I feel that will make quite a substantial difference to how investment is made. Marketeers, unfortunately, are so busy with the choices they have from a media perspective, that they have to take counsel from the agencies. And until we inform the agencies of the misread data, there's not going to be much movement. But certainly an opportunity, and certainly where the growth will come from, as marketeers find better return on investment from the online space.
Now, digital is obviously becoming an increasingly popular platform for companies and agencies to play within, and everybody's calling themselves a digital professional. What is the industry doing to ensure that talent management remains an integral part of, daily business-to-business communications?
Yes, I think we're certainly challenged in South Africa, where the requirement for digital skills outstrips the available skills in the market. I think our biggest stumbling block is certainly the education facilities that offer digital courses to educate our future digital pioneers. Certainly, we are in a place at the moment where we find people that have been working for only a few years calling themselves experts with no real formal education around the trade. And we find a lot of media people that have traditional experience moving into the digital space, but there again they have some good grounding around their knowledge of media. Online and digital is no longer a new media. It is part of the media mix. And as we see many agencies breeding talent inside their traditional departments, and absorbing what they used to call a digital unit.
I suppose we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Marcus, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.